Tapped in episode number 1. The rebirth, the rebranding, the redesign, the rebuilt. The same content as before, same commentary. My name is Juju, accompanied by my co-host here. How's it going, Flick?
Not bad, man. Not bad. And also, just to clarify, we got different names,
Uh,
obviously.
yeah, no,
And
I mean, when you lose everything, you think you're gonna lose your house, but you actually lose the rights to your name and your previous podcast. But it gets better.
yeah, it gets better with time. And
Yeah, no. At least she's letting me see the kids on Saturdays, so
yeah, I I'm I'm poor.
hopefully, that is the message.
Yeah, no, I'm recording this off of a can of tomato sauce. That made zero sense. Okay, listen.
What? Yeah,
That made zero. Oh wait, I can't say. Um. Okay, wait. You said 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. We can't curse. But I mean,
126. I think we're past there. I mean, look, this I can't mention them, but this education, you know.
I want to try something actually. I want to see how long I can go without cursing.
All right, well, yeah, let's do
All
that.
right, starting now.
PG flick.
Yeah, yeah, and also, oh yeah, yeah. Also, just to clarify, my name is corny as my name is pretty corny. Uh, I think, in my opinion, I mean, your name makes sense. Your new name makes sense because it has something to do with your name. But
My man's just likes movies. Like
yeah, I
that's it.
just I love movies so much, and I thought, yeah, Flick's got a nice ring to it. And
It
I was
could
like,
be
all right,
worse. It was gonna be worse.
it was gonna be way worse. My name is
Now that I think about it, you could have used it against me because marketing wise and being able to set up for potential ad revenue
yeah,
down the line, I don't think people would pay if what your name was gonna be was actually your name.
yeah, yeah. No, my name is a sweet homemade apple pie that was baked by the sweetest granny compared to what Juju was gonna give me.
Man, fuck grandmas. I hate old people, man. How do,
What a way
how
to
do you
start.
how do you feel about old people? Let's get it out of the way.
I don't mind them.
Listen, man, if I could box a 60-year-old guy, I would, given the opportunity.
I would too, man. But it has to be like it has to be something specific. Here's my thing. As a kid, you're raised to you're raised with the mentality. At least in my household, I was raised with the mentality of always respect your elders, always
Oh, of
respect
course, of
old
course.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I do. Growing up, I rarely have ever met an old person that's disrespectful and deserves to not get respect. But let's face it, man. Not every old person out there, not every elderly person deserves respect.
Not
You
all
know,
elders are equal. You know.
yeah, yeah. Um, but you know, I don't really mind them. However, I think it'd be cool to tussle with an old guy. I mean, that reminds me of
You wanna get down and dirty with an old guy? Is that what you're saying? You
I
wanna
mean,
be grit and grimy with an old grandpa? What's up,
why
Flick?
you gotta say it like that, man?
What do you mean? I'm just repeating what you told me.
Welcome to Tapped In episode 1.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of so Theodore Roosevelt, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best presidents this country has ever seen. I'm not patriotic. I'm not really that political, but dude was he was so badass, man. I mean, even while he was in office, he would box with other politicians. He'd box with youngsters to show them that just because he's old doesn't mean that he can't, show them who's boss. And he was so freaking hardcore. He tussled with his wife, man. So
Oh man, what
and
the
people
fuck?
people paid good money to see him. People paid good, and he was still in office at the time. Guy was so damn cold that he gave a 90-minute speech with a bullet in his abdomen.
So when you said that he fought with his wife,
It
what it
was just a
was?
boxing match, man.
Oh, I'm thinking, man, he's so badass. He started beating his wife. Just out of no.
No, no,
Is this
no.
not how we both interpreted this?
It was completely consensual.
Consensual.
It
Oh
was
yeah,
just
no, I'll take an ass woman.
it
Yeah,
was a
just
consensual bout, with crowd and all.
yeah. That's like modern day. Like if fucking Joe Biden would have decided to box like this little fucking 9-year-old girl. It's like, yeah, no, let's gather a little crowd and let's watch it. And to be fair, the 9-year-old would most likely win.
Most likely because that man he struggles to get up from his seat.
I mean, we've
So
all seen the video where he's trying to shake hands with nobody.
yeah, no, he's too far gone, man. I would bet every single dime that I have on a 9-year-old girl,
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Bottom line is the dude was so hardcore, and not only was he hardcore, but while in office, he contributed a lot to freaking history and just he founded parks. He was big on animals. As a matter of fact, one of the oldest videos of him is him playing with the dog, and it's so wholesome. I
Nice.
love it. And just to top it all off, Robin Williams got to play him in three films. Robin Williams, of all people, I miss that dude so much.
Man, just tragic.
Speaking of tragedies, and I just found out about this today. Some random, uh, judging by just, I can tell that they're not so educated. Two activists went into the museum in London and decided to throw tomato soup onto Vincent van Gogh's sunflower painting, then proceeded to glue the damn hands onto the wall, and then started telling everybody something about what um what should you protect more, something like that. What should you protect more, a painting or the world? Because they were activists for climate change.
Listen, man, do you even know Vincent Van Gogh paintings like that?
Hell yeah, man.
You do. Like
I
off the
used to read
top.
about the guy, man.
My point is that you can make any squiggly line and pass it off as this great monumental painting achievement. We've gotten to the point where you can splatter some art or some random colors onto a canvas and say, this is abstract. This is art.
No, man, I'm gonna have to disagree on you with that. Of course, I agree with you. Just artists in general, especially nowadays. You got artists. I remember on YouTube Shorts, I was seeing this artist who would just splatter a bunch of paint and then put the canvas onto a freaking drill gun and just spin it around until it looks abstract. Now
No,
that's
listen.
stupid. But
Uh
when it comes out to Vincent Van Gogh, looking at his paintings without knowing who he was, well, obviously we don't. Judging by reports and just just information that is historical information about his life and his life story. When you take that into consideration, his paintings have a lot more depth than you might think, because he had a tragic life, and he also had a twisted sort of mind, very dark. And the sunflower painting was also painted at a point where in his life where, if I'm not mistaken, that specific painting was painted at a point in his life where I could be wrong. Now, don't quote me on this, but it was painted at a time in his life where he was transitioning from, or at least trying to transition into a better position in his life. Trying to pick himself up. Uh, I could go into a lot of things in his life that really added to his depression and his stress.
Right.
So if you take into consideration his twisted mind and his just his overall melancholy way of thinking, it gives depth to a simple vase of flowers. That being said, because this painting has so much depth and history and it's tied so emotionally to an artist that had trouble expressing himself in his time period, it just pisses me off that these two random ass people decide to just spit on his painting of all paintings, just throw tomato soup on.
I mean, I think the part that I don't understand is what do you think was going on in their mind? Did they actually think that gluing themselves was gonna actually do anything? I don't know if you've used Elmer's glue before, but that shit don't stick.
No, it does not.
So
I think
so
it was
you're
more for
just
symbolism.
symbolism my ass.
Yeah,
What the hell did they think was gonna happen? By the way, that art, that painting was behind like this cover,
yeah,
so they didn't do anything.
yeah. When I first saw the video today, like I was just scrolling through I think it was Instagram. Yeah, it was Instagram. I was just no, it was YouTube. I was just scrolling. And then it just pops up. I see Vincent Van Gogh's painting and then splat. And I was like, man, my heart skipped a beat. I'm gonna be honest, my heart skipped a beat because and then I was reading the comments. Uh I think one of the first comments, or was it was the first comment said, just so you know, these two people have been arrested and the painting has been it was unharmed, or not, it wasn't soiled. So that was a relief. But either way, it doesn't excuse their stupidity. Listen, I get their approach. It's not. It's a terrible approach. That's not activism. That's vandalism. Big difference. Vandalism isn't a very effective way to get your message out there. If anything, it
I
makes you
mean,
the enemy.
even if you're gonna have to go to extreme lengths like vandalism, at least make sure that you're actually doing something.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you just look like a jackass.
yeah.
Like,
Because like there's activists out there that are actually fighting for this cause in effective ways. Meanwhile, you got two random. They look like they're in high school, maybe college. They're young.
right,
That's not an effective way at all. Everybody in that room was against them, okay? And now they're a big joke on the internet. They have done nothing, and what annoys me the most is that they think they've done something.
yeah. I
Like I'm pretty
mean,
sure they
it's
whipped up this plan just the night before. They're like, okay, listen, hear me out. We'll run to the store, get some tomato soup, come back, and then we'll map out everything. We'll get some Elmer's glue. Hear me out.
they went to
People are
Dollar Tree the night before and say, "Yeah, we got this."
like, we got this. We got this.
No, man.
Uh,
That's why I always say that people scare me, man.
yeah.
That's the mind of people is so erratic. Whether you're sticking yourself, it's like the people when they don't want a tree to get cut down. Like they'll hold hands and hug around a tree. Like, motherfucker, I'm driving this big ass truck for a reason. Get out the way.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah. A lot of these causes that people are advocates for nowadays, you know, they're valid causes. In this situation, it's climate change.
Right.
But there's some people that just because they heard that they're good causes and that the world would benefit from helping these causes, like they don't get enough information on the cause to actually.
people people will just support anything. I remember uh I don't know if you know who Kodak Black is.
Yeah.
Just yeah, Kodak Black. He was wearing this shirt, this pink shirt. It was like, I support breast cancer, and it just cuts off. Everybody in the comments like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you support breast cancer? And then he's like, I support breast cancer awareness. And I was, well, he should have made that a little bit clear, man.
Yeah, that reminds me of I think it was Justin Bieber had a shirt that said racism is bad or something.
Nice.
And he was selling those shirts for like 20, I think 20, just a ridiculously high amount. And people were
it's a
actually buying
fine
this.
it's a fine price to pay to end racism, man.
See, that's how you end racism. You just slap it on a shirt, say it's bad, and then bam.
Yeah, we need more people like him.
Yeah, no, definitely. If he keeps this up, his name is gonna be known all over the world. I'm so glad that I figured him out. I mean, I
Yeah,
found him
dude.
out. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for that shirt,
People scare me, and nothing scares me more than what's happening right now with people discovering, for the first time, mind you, the information about Jeffrey Dahmer.
uh,
Now that this new series, which I have yet to completely finish, because I mean I've always been one of those people that as soon as something drops, I can't watch it. Not because I
yeah,
don't want to, but too many people talk about it, and it's just like, okay, now expectations way too high.
right.
Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is people are divided between whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Hell, some people are even sympathizing for the guy and the actions that he did, which I
Mhm.
just find just out there, just unreal.
Just mind-boggling. All right. Not to mention, and you 100%. I'm pretty sure you know about this. People crushing not just on the actor who plays Jeffrey Dahmer, but the actual dude himself.
Yeah,
Like nothing happened. They're crushing on this dude, and that ties in with when you said that they're sympathizing with him. Um, I remember when My Friend Dahmer came out. Pretty good film. It's based off of a comic, um, uh, written by. It's called My Friend Dahmer because the guy that made the comic went to school with him, and he's in the comic, but it's told through the perspective of Dahmer, sort of. Well, at least the film is. When that film came out, I remember it's not as popular as the new series,
right.
but for the people that didn't know about it at the time, because that film it takes place in his last 2 years of high school, and he killed his first victim. I think it was like a day or a week. It was after his graduation of high school. Okay, so the movie ends on him picking up his first victim, which I think his name was, if I'm not mistaken, Stephen Hicks. Yeah. Keep in mind, I used to be obsessed with this case. I remember when it first came out, people started to sympathize with him. For the people that has seen the film, uh, they started sympathizing with him, and I was younger at the time. I didn't really pay much attention to that. I was just breaking into the world of serial killers and true crime,
Yeah.
and but now looking back, people are nuts. A Disney star, his name is I forgot his name, but he was in Austin and Alley, played Jeffrey Dahmer. So I think his face really got people's butts in the theaters, and that was like the beginning, in my opinion. That was like the beginning of people tying in the actor to the actual person.
Yeah,
And
no, we've talked about it. We've said that maybe it's because I guess people who are watching this either A have a vague clue of who he is and what he's done,
yeah,
but B is also that a lot of people who are watching this have no clue or they've never heard of this guy. And this
mhm,
fetishization of this serial killer is just the weirdest thing to me. It's like one of those TikTok girls when they were talking about Cameron Herron, who, by the
yeah,
way, is convicted of 24 years in a Florida prison for vehicular homicide. And they
mhm.
were saying he's way too cute to be in prison. Let him
Give
go.
a damn. Listen, that's why I'm so I'm speechless, man. Uh, yeah, no, this
Yeah,
is.
no, dude,
I,
just
I think that,
the fact that people are saying, "Oh, this guy killed the this many people. He's a psychological liar. He's a fucking goddamn cannibal." And people are like, "Yeah, no, but he's like he accepts God now, so he's gonna be fine."
yeah.
It's
Now,
what?
now I don't have Netflix, so I haven't seen the show. I've seen clips here and there, and I'm not saying that I have no doubt that there are things to appreciate from the show. Judging by the clips that I have seen, acting is pretty damn good. Cinematography pretty engaging. Um, the way sounds are used, very eerie, really adds depth to the cinematography. But people don't pay attention to that.
My
Uh,
biggest gripe isn't necessarily with Netflix. Well, my only gripe with Netflix is that they're capitalizing off something traumatic,
yeah,
and from what I understand, the real life victims and the people affected by this,
right,
it's just like blindsight. They were not expecting this. They were not ready for it. Their likeness is being used, and they're not being compensated for it. And
right.
it's and from what I heard, one of the people that was on the stand was actually re-traumatized by this. That's what I don't.
Hmm.
That's where I put the blame on Netflix for that.
Right.
But then the other part is the people who are so infatuated with this, and who are sympathizing with this serial killer and this psychological maniac. That's just like you said, very mind-boggling. Like, why would you fetishize? Why
Yeah.
would you become so obsessed with that?
And listen, the things that I just mentioned, the way sounds are used, cinematography, acting, the reason why all those are the way they are is because it's a real case. It's stuff that really happened. It's supposed to be disturbing, and there's people that are actually trying to avoid watching the show because of how disturbing it is, and but it's not disturbing just for the sake of being disturbing. Like this actually happened. So, but uh then you have people saying this. Now you have people saying this is my favorite show. I love this show. This and that and this and that. This show is supposed to be disturbing. It's supposed to put you on edge. It's supposed to keep you up at night because this is only Jeffrey Dahmer. Imagine all the other people, all the other sick nuts out there that we don't know about doing
That's the
unspeakable acts.
scariest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because if you have not heard of them, that means that they're pretty damn good at what they do
Hmm.
to not be caught. But I also think that maybe it's, I mean, we live in a digital age. People have access to everything online.
Hmm.
And as much as we sit here and we actually talk about logically how this is supposed to be a very eerie and methodical show,
Hmm.
people have access to way worse. It's never been the point of our lives where we can literally go on Google and see a live death. Just people actually dying. Just
Yeah,
upload it to the internet. And I guess that's made people desensitized to real world attacks.
it has. I am with you on that. It just maybe it's petty of me, but it just annoys me because I mean, this show is portraying real events that can still happen and I have no doubt that happen currently, but because the show is so intriguing, I don't know. I just find it annoying how people are like, "Oh, this is my favorite show. You should watch it. You should watch it. It's so good. The acting. Oh my god!" And listen, there are things to appreciate, like I said, but there's a reason why it puts you on edge. There's a reason why it makes your hair stand. There's a reason why it makes you look down the hallway with just immense fear.
I
Um,
will say that they did get a chuckle out of me when, when the father goes to the station, they're telling him, like, sir, we got some bad news. Your son's a killer. He's doing all this and that. He's
he's
gay. He's a
homosexual.
cannibal. My son's gay? He's like, what the? That's like the whole thing. They got so obsessed with his fucking gay son.
When I heard about that, I was my instantly my thoughts went to a few years back when I was watching the documentary, and then they were interviewing um what's his name, Lionel Dahmer. They were interviewing the father, and this was
The
years
father is
after.
such a character, man.
Yeah, yeah. This was years after Dahmer's death, um, and I couldn't help but notice how the father just was so fixated on his son just being gay. He's like, yeah, no, such a sin my son committed. I mean, for him to do
Be
things with
gay.
men,
Just
yeah,
he didn't
for him
give
to
a
do.
fuck how many fucking people he just murdered. He's like, no, no, no homosexuality. Just
I mean, I don't know how accurate, because I've seen the scenes where his father is like sad, especially the scene where he sees his son's dead body. Maybe in real life he was really emotional like that, but looking back at all the interviews, the way he was so fixated on his son just being a homosexual just makes me wonder whether Netflix kind of stretched it a little. But I don't know, man. Just I can't. I don't know any of that. I don't.
my dad didn't accept me. I had to become a killer.
However, what they did get accurate was, yeah, in real life, his father did have a lot of the thoughts that Dahmer had, especially in his youth. He just was able to control it better. He never acted upon those thoughts, but he did have a lot of anger, and he wasn't like the most. How do I say this? He was basically a loser as well when he was in
Yeah,
elementary and high school. However, his father did become successful in a way. He became a chemist. He was a chemist, right? Yeah, he became a chemist. So but uh, his marriage just was terrible, and that also kind of it's all strange how everything ties in because Lionel and the mother the mother's marriage was just so ass.
yeah.
Really added to Dahmer's um, tragic upbringing, which pushed him to the edge. Listen, I'm not like excusing
Justifying.
Dahmer.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing Dahmer. This is just all factual. Um, it's pretty much what happened.
It doesn't excuse people to be so infatuated with it that
Yeah,
it becomes their personality. You know, like this
no, fuck
show.
that.
Yeah, this show is now my life. Like I hate. I mean, it's supposed to be an introduction to, I guess, for people who don't know these cases, but
Yeah,
people who don't know these cases are just little kids, or they're like, young teens who
yeah.
aren't tapped into the old,
So now
cases.
I can't help but wonder every time I pass by somebody with like longest straight hair, and glasses, and think, you watched the show, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Life imitates art, man. You never know.
I mean, in this case, it'll be art imitating life, imitating art, or is it the other way around?
Artception.
I don't know, man. Just
Oh, people are weirdos and they scare me,
people are
man.
freaking
People,
sick.
people
And
scare me, man. For real, for real.
I do have a personal. This might be petty of me, but one thing that pisses me off on a personal level is now everybody's talking about it now, like the actual case happened just fucking 2 months ago or something, and now everybody's talking about, like, meanwhile you have people like me who knew that all this shit existed. The thing that pisses me off, years back, I was studying his case. I was so intrigued and so disturbed at the same time. So I had a lot of information about the case, um,
Right.
and, and I haven't looked into it that much. Like, I kind of left it alone because at the time it was like a hobby just to watch all these documentaries. And I remember the majority of the information that I know, but uh, I couldn't talk to anybody about that. I couldn't talk to anybody about serial killers and what I
You're just
know
gonna
about them.
pop in with all these Jeffrey Dahmer facts. You know exactly when he killed somebody. You know exactly who
Yeah,
it
and
was.
I get that that's weird, but I mean, I was a kid at the time, not like a kid, but I was a pretty young kid
Yeah,
at the time. So, like obviously, I would want to talk about these things, but I go to any of my friends, they'll look at me like I'm crazy. I go to anybody, they'll look at me like I'm the crazy one. Nowadays, it's different because now everybody's talking about this thing. And
yeah.
now I'm still
Everybody,
the crazy one because I haven't seen the show. They're like, "Damn, you haven't seen the show? You got to watch it."
everybody
So
accepts the fact that these killings are being seen as like cool for some reason.
yeah, that's one
Sick
thing.
and
Uh,
perverse.
it's just so sickening, man. Um, People are just sick.
Yeah, no, I mean Netflix has certainly done so much to get people to buy into whatever they're feeding them. And
Mm.
I mean it's just about artistic expression, I guess, and also how they go about it. I just feel personally that it's sucky the way that they're handling it because it's
Mhm.
more hype than of course, like you said, the cinematography, the curation, the music, all of it adds to it, but I don't know. I think once they realize people are so into it that
Yeah, people just get the wrong message sometimes, or take things the wrong way.
I mean, representation of people is so important, I guess, when you're telling a story. That's
Yeah,
like the Marilyn Monroe movie, right? The or
yeah.
like series. Wait, is it a series or movie? I can't.
It's a film. It's called
It's
Blonde.
it's yeah, the film Blonde. I haven't watched it yet. Her story is so interesting in and of
Yeah,
itself.
I want to watch it. Um, but my reason is so one of my favorite films of all time is Some Like It Hot. I love it so much that last year at film studies, I suggested it to my film teacher because it was the end of the year. We weren't doing anything else anymore. He said, "Anybody got any movie suggestions?" And I threw out Some Like It Hot. Love that movie so much. Oh, such a masterpiece. It's satire too. Marilyn Monroe plays the dumb blonde, right? The stereotypical
Right.
dumb blonde, but it makes fun of how Hollywood portrayed the dumb blonde because the director Billy Wilder, um, that just didn't sit right with him. The stereotypical dumb blonde character that's only for sex appeal and has to be the love interest. You know, a lot of movies back then, like they try to force it too. It was almost a trend back then. Um, so that movie really made fun of it. As a matter of fact, Marilyn Monroe's introduction in that film uh, purposely sexualizes her. But when you compare like how the movie turns out to how the movie started, you see the direction they were heading. I love that film so much. That being said, while I was scrolling through Instagram, this was when the movie was really, really, really trendy. It still kind of is, but this was like at its peak. I I get a lot of posts about cinema, and side note, the actress who plays her, they really made her. They really did a good job on making her look like Marilyn Monroe. When I clicked on it and I was watching it, um, I didn't realize until she pretends to break character, like, because she's acting, she pretends to break character. That I realized, wait, this isn't Some Like It Hot, and I was like, it clicked. Oh my god, this is a new film. So I got really stoked because they
They reference it sort of
yeah
ish,
reference
yeah.
it. Well, not really reference it because uh the set of the film is a big part of the film. If that makes sense.
So it's like a reenactment sort of.
Yeah, reenactment. That's the best way to put it. That's perfect. So it's like a reenactment, and that's what really got me stoked. And Jack Lemmon, one of the actors in the films, I grew up watching Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau isn't in the film; they just did movies together. But that's how I know Jack Lemmon. So I was like, man, I got to see who plays Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, the two,
Mm.
the two main characters. Well, the two actors that play the main characters. So that's why I really want to watch the film. I mean, that's probably a dumb reason to watch the film, but I mean, it's a reason.
I
Plus,
mean, yeah, no, I like Anna de Armas, who's playing Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
And I've also seen the clip that you're talking about, and when it broke out, and like the director was there, and she's like, "Oh, this is what you think of me," and
yeah,
all that. I thought it was really really cool.
it
Uh,
was, but that never happened. There's this documentary that I saw, a really good documentary on the making of the film. It's called Nobody's Perfect,
hmm,
and it's called Nobody's Perfect because that's the final line of the film. Oh my god, dude! But it's so funny, man. The best joke of the film is saved for the ending. It's so perfect and almost poetic. But um, so the documentary is called Nobody's Perfect, and in the documentary, yeah, she was really hard to work with on set because she was also dealing with things at the time. And if I'm not mistaken, she was pregnant during the filming of the on set. She was pregnant at the time, so she was but she never had any outbursts. She did like um f- come late a lot. She
hmm.
drank a lot on set, and she was going through something, but she never had outbursts. But um because of just the way she was when the cameras were off, I could I mean I the crew could tell that she was holding in a lot of stress, and that really.
Like,
But keep in
yeah,
mind that the
yeah.
film is based off of a book that is fiction. The book isn't one hundred
I mean,
percent
her
true.
whole life was just, riddled with a lot of things that went on with her life, and
Yeah,
the whole John F. Kennedy thing, the abusive. Was she taking like medication or something, or
I think so.
something along those lines? She was like depressed or something.
Yeah, a lot of stress, just a lot of pressure. And listen, before the movie, I mean, I from the documentaries that I've seen and just like a lot of the stuff that I've seen on Marilyn Monroe's life, I already had prior knowledge of just how tragic it was,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and um and you already know about the John F. Kennedy scene, right?
yeah.
Yeah, there are no reports that he actually like made her do those sexual favors. However, I do have there's this one story. It's actually kind of comedic because the CIA um believed at the time that Marilyn Monroe was a spy trying to
AKA
gather
spy.
information, and she was seducing the president to gather information of whatever the hell. So they pretty much bugged their house, and they were waiting for to hear any information that they could use against Marilyn Monroe to confirm.
Dude, John F. Kennedy just wanted to fuck a lot. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
basically. I'm thinking the
So
F stands for fuck, dude. 'Cause didn't he like have secretaries that he would hire just so that he like could do
yeah,
like
he
sexual
did.
stuff
He
with?
did, right? Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah. So the CIA was expecting to hear some sweet, juicy information. All they heard was just a bunch of pounding, a lot of moans. Um,
Oh my god.
and just to top it all off, Marilyn Monroe went on record saying that John F. Kennedy isn't even that good in bed, which I think it's so hilarious. But going back to the film is technically fiction because the book it's made clear that it's fiction. Like it's not supposed to be taken as factual, but people are because the film is so disturbing. People are like they're really hating on this film, which I understand. Like the film isn't perfect, but it's they made it clear that it's not factual. So I don't know why people are exploding their heads so much.
Right.
Now, judging by the scenes that I've seen, the film ain't perfect at all. And it's but despite her accent, because her strong accent still shows a lot. She did a really good job acting and portraying Marilyn Monroe. And at the end of
I believe she's Cuban. So I was
yeah,
going into this film. I was very intrigued with how it would be, I guess
hmm
masquerade in a way, or maybe like more of a American accent or whatever.
yeah, I was very curious. And then when I heard that scene where she bursts in anger and I hear her voice, yeah, her Cuban accent really shows. And I was like, that at first I was like, okay, yeah, this film sucks ass. Tell me when you watch the film, just tell me what you think about it. Because I want to, I
You
don't
know,
doubt.
I have the I have my ways to watch free stuff. I won't incriminate myself, but you find workarounds. Anyway, I pressed the link for the film and I got taken a Space Jam too. And I was so mad. I was so goddamn disappointed. I'm trying to watch Marilyn Monroe. I'm trying to see this reenactment of her life and stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm watching LeBron James dunk on the whatever the hell the other team was.
that is that's the movie version of a Rick roll, and I love it. I refuse to watch Space Jam 2.
Yeah,
I
no, I don't. Let's just not make it canon.
wait.
But
Did you? It was a link to the full Space Jam 2 film.
yeah, the whole Space Jam 2,
Did you watch
from
it?
beginning to. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I watched like the first 10 minutes
There you go.
only because I'm like, there's no way this is an actual Space Jam movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this got to be like, it takes like 7 minutes for the pre-roll intros to like stop.
Right.
Like you'll be like, this is Disney, this is
Wait a
DreamWorks,
minute.
this is
What? Wait, 7 minutes?
or something like that, dude. You know how they bombard you with like, oh, this movie was produced by Disney.
You think they'd stop doing that?
I don't know. I haven't watched. I I don't sit down to watch movies. In case you guys don't know, Juju does not cannot watch a 2 to 3 hour movie, and
Yeah.
I can't do it. I have to take breaks in between there.
Yeah. When you first told me that, that explained a lot. Like whenever I, because if we're watching something that like needs your full concentration and attention, I know say you move around a lot. Um,
Yeah.
so,
No, I think
so
I really I have like mild ADHD. Just
yeah, I'm not one to self-diagnose, I, but I do have how do I say this?
ADHD like
Concerns.
tendencies.
Yeah, I gotta get myself checked out. I haven't been checked out like that since I think seventh grade.
Do people even go to the doctors voluntarily? Like I would imagine if I were to get shot, I'd be like, nah, man, I'll just get a pack of ice and heal that myself before I
Just
go
get
to
some
a hospital.
alcohol and band-aids.
I remember the only time that I had to go to a hospital was when I passed out. Like, of course, because you're not awake, you can't make
Yeah,
that conscious choice. But if it were up to me, I would just sleep it off because this is.
yeah, dude. I like two weeks ago I had an allergic reaction. My parents while I was at school, my parents stopped at the store. So when I came home, I opened the fridge and there was a jug of vanilla chai, and I was excited because I've always wanted to try vanilla chai, and it smelled so good. And it was when I tasted it, it was a flavor that I've had before, but from childhood. It was strange because it was a flavor that I've had before, but I can't remember where. It was a flavor that I've dreamt about many times,
This man
and
was
like
having
it's
wet dreams about vanilla extract.
good.
Just
I had I wouldn't say ratatouille moment, but I definitely had like weird ass like flashbacks to the times where like I tasted that flavor out of nowhere.
simpler times. Just
Yeah, so like it was all come together full circle, and it's like, damn, I could die peacefully now that I've tasted this flavor that I've been chasing for all
ask
my
and you
life.
shall receive, buddy. Just
Yeah, and then by the time I finished, my cup, I start to have an allergic reaction. My throat starts to close up. My tongue and throat starts to itch, and then and I'm like, damn. But like, I'm so casual about it. Like, I wasn't even like freaking out. It got to the point where I was getting pissed off because like I just my throat was closing. I was like, fuck. I don't want to. This is so
Man's
fucking.
accepted his faith right there. Just
Yeah, I was just in the living room with my mother and my father, and I was like, ah, God, I just why want to go the fuck away? Cause like I mean, my throat was closing, and I hate it. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, you know. So, but in a way, I was still casual about it because usually people would be like, "Call 911, call 911, I'm dying." But I was like, "Fuck, man, fuck death," you know.
yeah, no,
Instead of
we
like, we didn't have,
unless your arm is dangling off, we will not call 911.
yeah.
Just uh,
So our solution was to boil some water and just have me drink warm water. But it
and
was
here
actually
we are.
helping.
You didn't die.
Yeah.
Congratulations! A round of applause for the man.
Yeah, nothing like old school home remedies to get rid of death.
Canada Dry, whatever the fuck, drink some Tylenol and the tiger blanket, and you're good to go.
Yeah, when I was little, I had a problem with earaches. I consistently had bad earaches, really, really bad earaches. One time it got so bad that we had to go to the hospital. But when we didn't go to the hospital, my parents' solution was to grill some onion, roll it up, and then stick it in my ear.
And did it work?
Well, it stopped at some point, so I don't know if it was.
Yay!
Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, you know what? Looking back, I haven't had it. Okay, so I haven't had an earache in like so long. I'd say maybe almost a decade. But looking back, once my mother placed it in my ear, just like the pain was still there, but I could feel the relief just slowly washing over me, sort of.
Right.
And I actually think that grilling a little piece of onion, rolling it up, and then putting it in your ear actually is a very effective remedy to get rid of earaches. So,
But
but
we're
I'm not
not
a doctor, so
professionals, so yeah, we
yeah, so I'm
should.
not gonna say I highly recommend, but
Gosh, shove a pencil up your nose, you'll feel better in the morning. Just
yeah, but it worked for me, so you know. Um,
you're invincible when you're a kid, man. You can do whatever you want.
oh yeah,
You
definitely,
eat
man.
tons of grass. You eat a blue crayon.
Dude, I got a cast iron stomach, dude. Like I got a really strong system because at least I believe I do because my stomach can handle a great deal of shit. So, and I think it has something to do with the fact that I was a dumb child and pretty ballsy for a child because you know I'd endure in such brave adventures in my backyard. So,
No, I was very adventurous too. For those who don't know, well, I I love Q-tips, and let's just
uh,
say it's I'm still living with a Q-tip inside of my ear that
yeah,
won't get out. So that's fun.
yeah. Looking back as a child, I could have died so many times. You know, when I was a toddler, and I still remember this kind of vividly. I didn't even start school yet. In my childhood home, I would I would go into the bathroom. So we lived in an apartment, right? But it was like a family owned apartment. My uncles lived upstairs. My grandparents lived on the first floor, and my family and I lived in the basement. So when my parents were at work, I'd be on the first floor being babysat by my grandmother.
Right.
And what I would do, I found out that under the sink they had cleaning products and
Nice.
chemicals, and
Nice.
I would mix them and then make quote unquote potion. Um, and the reason why I did it was because one of the bottles had green liquid, so I just started mixing chemicals together. And but I never thought to drink it or anything. I think I touched it, and played with it, but I never thought to drink it. But either way, if I was any more stupid, I wouldn't be here, man.
So
Oh man,
fuck J.K. Rowling is what I'm saying. Fuck making making you make these potions thinking that you're invincible.
I think it was Bill Nye that got me.
Oh my god, no, Bill.
I had no idea that the Harry Potter series existed when I was little. I grew up in a Hispanic household. I say Hispanic because my family was Guatemalan, but my father was Mexican, so I grew up with, I guess, both. So I just say Hispanic in general. So
Yeah,
no Harry Potter in the house, but I knew that science existed.
I
I knew
knew
that
I knew
science.
that we had gravity. Just it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, my childhood home in the backyard, we also had a sandbox, and I'd eat the sand. That ties in with me saying that I got a cast iron stomach. I'm pretty sure I got my body used to it.
I trained myself rigorously to be able to withstand me eating sand.
Mm, oh my
Man, this is why
god.
we're gonna die in our 30s.
You know, um, this is gonna sound dumb, but my dream for when I get old is to see what New Year's looks like when you're turning into a new decade. But I'm not gonna make
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh
I'm not
my God. When we hit 2020 and everyone's like, yeah, best year of our lives, it's just full blown pandemic. Just
gonna-
wiped us
yeah,
all out.
people find out it all started. Well, not all started, but the the clock turns 12. 2020 is officially has officially started. Next thing you know, everybody, all the MF Doom fans find out that he died 3 months ago.
Oh my
COVID
God,
starts.
no.
Kobe dies. What else? What else happened? We almost go to war. Um,
Oh yeah, the World War III
yeah,
memes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
2020, man. I Call of Duty was not gonna prepare me for all of that,
yeah.
getting drafted. My
Um,
favorite memory was when we were in quarantine and my teacher was like, guys, stop being over dramatic. We'll see you next week. And then I never heard from that guy ever again.
I
And it's
know,
been 3 years and I still haven't heard.
I know, man. My freaking world studies teacher. She was giving us a lesson on. This was in the early stages of COVID, and she was giving us a lesson on how no, we're gonna be okay. And then at the end of her lesson, like she was like really riled up. Like it turned from just a lesson to like an actual. Can you guys just get it? We're gonna be okay. Okay. And I'll never forget at the end of the lecture, she takes a pause, takes a deep breath, looks around. You're gonna be fine. Okay. So calm down. You're gonna be just fine. 2 years later.
It's just awful. Just
2 years later, and I actually just recently visited her, and she's one of the best teachers in that school. If I'm going to be honest, a lot of people didn't like her class, which I get. A lot of people didn't like her in general because like she's loud and energetic, but I don't mind because I had her class like later in the day.
yeah.
But world studies was such an interesting class, and we got to shit on Columbus a lot, and I really
I
like
mean,
that.
but it's Columbus, yeah. The thing.
Yeah, we got to shit on Columbus, and we got to see some cool documentaries, and we even got to see Morgan Freeman has his own series on religion, uh, and we got to see a few episodes. That shit was dope, man.
Yeah.
I'm not religious, but I love studying religions. Like,
Morgan Freeman. I love
yeah,
studying Morgan Freeman.
yeah, and I love Morgan Freeman, so it's right up my alley too.
Yeah. But other
Yeah,
than that, man, people are so hardcore about religion. Uh, I don't know. People go overboard with certain things.
yeah,
My
no,
fear of
man.
people grow every day, but not as much as my fear of growing bald. Um,
Mm.
Every day I wake up and I start combing my hair and just seeing those little pieces fall into the sink. It just raises my anxiety to new
Yeah,
levels and proportions.
yeah. I'm starting to, I'm not. I'm doing better, but you know, um, before I start to like do better, um, I was dealing with a lot of stress and frustration, and I started to notice that my hair was falling out, and I was like, "Damn, it's happening." Keep in mind that my biological father was um was bald. Okay, and I'm a carbon copy of him.
You
I've been
mean
told that.
you mean follically challenged?
Oh no, I
Come
heard
on,
about
man, don't be that.
that. I didn't know, you cannot pay me enough for me to use that phrase in my everyday vocabulary.
Like you're at a job entry, like diabetes, fucking diabetic. I have dialysis. I'm follically challenged.
Oh my god, just say bald. There's nothing offensive about that. I mean, nah. What was I saying before? Oh yeah. So, I have a lot of my father's genes. Okay, so I'm scared that I'm gonna become bald in the future, and my mother tells me that when he was first going bald, he was getting kind of depressed because his hair was like a big part of his personality, you know. So he was really feeling down on
Yeah,
himself.
no, that's exactly how I feel. I mean, I
Yeah,
think my greatest feature is my hair. I
yeah,
mean,
I
not
think
that it
so
looks
too.
good. Not that it looks good. It's just it's there, you know. Like
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Listen, I've never felt attractive a day in my life, and I have a love hate relationship with my hair. But it's like it's not like it doesn't make me like attractive in my opinion, but it's the best quality.
when you go for a late night drive and the breeze is hitting you and you just feel your hair just swaying in the back. You can't get that when you're bald.
No,
You just it feels like when you stick your thumb out of the car and it just gets cold. Like that's exactly, but it's your head, you know, like
yeah. So where's the fun in that, you know?
yeah,
Um, so I'm gonna have to accept early that I might go bald, but I don't want to. But I'm gonna have to accept it anyway, even if it might not happen. But I mean,
I mean, I just would not like it, and if I can prevent it, I'll do anything, man. I can't be out here being in my mid 20s,
you'll do
rocking the bald,
anything.
rocking the bald spot, rocking the Jordan cut, you know.
I will say this though, because when my mother was telling me the story of how my father was losing his hair, um, he ended up accepting it because my mother um helped him out with that. She really gave him like a confidence boost. And thinking about that story, if I do eventually go bald, um, I'm just gonna have to own it, you know. And I think that's kind of cool.
Hey, man, if The Rock got voted sexiest man alive one time for being bald, I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
I
there's
mean,
that.
there's plenty of attractive bald dudes. You got The Rock,
Oh my gosh, Steve Harvey, those
Steve
suits,
Harvey, Bruce
those
Willis.
suits, that mustache, just
Just he's always dapper, man. He's always clean and fresh. Bruce Willis, in my
I'd love
opinion.
to slap the back of that man's head.
Honestly, man, me too. It'd be an honor.
Yeah,
Um,
Shaquille
well,
O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
you've seen
oh,
Shaquille O'Neal drinking a water bottle, right?
yeah, man, iconic video.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys got. So I guess my next question is, and I've asked this so many times with so many people, and I always get like the same reaction. How big is it? How big do you think it is? Oh wait, we talked about
I
this.
think we've come to a conclusion that it's not proportional. That is.
The majority of answers that I've gotten, once people like just give in to my weird ass question, they say at least 7 inches. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like for his size, I think 7 inches doesn't meet the mark.
Listen, I don't speculate about a man's whatever, but Reddit has said that it's not proportional, but yet again, it's Reddit.
Good old Reddit. Reddit is like a laid back version of Twitter.
Reddit
I'm not
Reddit
into
is
too
the
much anymore.
Reddit is the hitchhiker that you will occasionally pick up. But
Yeah,
on the off chance that it kills you, you're like, well, it's Reddit, so
yeah. Reddit is basically the guy in high school that hides in the bathroom just to vape.
yeah.
I think that's a good analogy. Um,
Anyway, more than seven, I think. It's gotta be. It's gotta be more than
you know
seven.
what? I'm satisfied. At first, I wasn't, but I'm just now realizing, yeah, maybe I asked this question way too much.
Philosophical, I can't sleep. It's 3 in the morning. What am I doing with my life question?
Yeah, the type of question where you start to think, am I
I
crazy?
can't even do my homework because I have so many questions about this.
Yeah, and it's not even out of I'm just genuinely curious. Like I don't want to see the guy's dick. Okay, listen, I just gonna leave it at 7 inches. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just gonna leave this topic completely. I am done. I hate myself. All that being said, I think this is a great opportunity to just slow things down and just leave all this weirdness behind.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I maybe we're the weird ones, right? But I don't know. I think people scare us
yeah,
with their
at the end of
imagination.
the day, I scare people too. I'm pretty sure with the shit that I say, man.
But if you take anything away from this, don't become a murderer. And if you're gonna vandalize, at least do it correctly.
Yeah, at least find like a regular stash that nobody cares about in the park instead of a valuable
And
painting.
if you're gonna use glue, you better be gorilla glue.
Yeah, Gorilla Glue is the best way to go because I mean, if you're planning on avoiding jail time while yelling at people about climate change, Elmer's glue is just not going to cut it. Plus, this was in London. It was probably I saw the little bottle. It was a different brand of glue, so it was probably weaker if we're
Look,
going to be honest.
Dollar Tree glue does not work.
Yeah, no. And also, I'm slowly convincing myself that they're dumb enough to buy chapstick. I
Yeah,
like to think they're using chapstick and not glue.
hell, even tape. I'm gonna just tape myself. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Tapped In podcast. New episodes
Yeah,
coming. Be on the lookout for us. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Juju,
I'm
my
pissing
co-host,
myself.
amazing. We'll catch y'all very soon.
Catch you on the whatever people say. I'm about to pass out. Thank you for tuning in.
That's been amazing.